Another Bitcoin bottom signal just flashed. The Gaussian channel finally turned red. In this video, I'm going to explain what that means historically, what has happened after, and why we might actually be closer to a bottom than we think. Welcome everybody to the 10K to 100K challenge. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Gaussian channel and looking at some other indicators that might signal whether we're close to a bottom or whether we're at a bottom. Let's get straight into it. So what I'm going to show you here is, in a previous video, I will link it down below, I made a scorecard that gives us a look into how close we are to a bottom. This is all based on historical data, what's happened in the past. So I'm going to show you what I have here. So when it comes to the signals we've already seen, we know that the fear and greed index was, it hit 5 at the lowest. Right now, it's about a 9, which still fairly low. That's typically a bottom signal. But then we also go to the 200-week moving average. We can see here that it's very close, almost touching it. I consider this a fair enough signal. It has gone below it in the past, as you can see here. So I'm looking for a touch or a break below, but it's fairly close. So I've personally taken that as a signal. Then we look at more of the technical data, the Gaussian channel. We finally had a flip to red. This is important because in every instance of the previous cycles, we've actually seen that the flip red typically leads to a bottom being very, very close, sometimes just a few weeks away, or that anytime it flashes red, it's just a good time to buy in general. So let me show you some previous data that corresponds to what I'm saying. So if we go all the way back to 2014, 2015, the bottom, we can see here that when the Gaussian channel was in the green, or when price was way above the Gaussian channel, we see that there's a steady growth in price. And then once we have a touch into it or a close into it, it spells kind of disaster for the next bit. Now, when we finally have a flip red, what we can see is we have a bottom, our first bottom, and this is only flips red 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks after it flips red, right? And then we have prolonged period where accumulating is the best time you can buy. And then you can see once it breaks through the Gaussian channel, flips green, we have years of parabolic growth. Now, does it repeat? We look above green, touches into green, starts to lose its strength. We see less upward movement. Then we have a flip red here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 to 6 weeks before a bottom. And then we have a prolonged period of accumulation. Then we have it flipped green again. We have above the green. You can kind of see the trend I'm laying out right here is that we have a push above the green. Then once we see it breaks into the green, we see it drops below, flips red. Once it flips red, how close are we to the bottom? We're about, in this case, 2 weeks. If we consider this bottom, obviously slightly different story and the data might be a bit different there. But the principle still applies that we had a bottom and then a period of accumulation. So now we have it to where price broke below. It actually broke below before flipping red, which in most cases, it breaks below after it flips red. And you can see here, essentially when it flipped red. And then here, when it broke below before it hit red, it bottomed pretty close to when it flipped red. So given the historical data and what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing, just strictly pattern recognition, I think what's going to happen likely is we're going to see another drop in price, a bottom, you could say, and then a prolonged period at that price range at which accumulation is the best thing you can do. You want to load the bags, sell your dog, get some cash, whatever you can do to buy Bitcoin. And then once we're in those price ranges, it's essentially just a period of accumulation, and then you want to hold for that next move up. So by no means does this mean bottoms in the next few weeks and then we're off to the races. This could be a prolonged, for the next 6 months, it stays at those bottom levels. And when it comes to investing, we want to understand that moments like these happen in very short windows. At least short windows, they feel kind of short. So don't be unprepared for this, because the bottom could come and go faster than you think, right? So what I'm doing is, with my portfolio, I still have cash ready. I'm still waiting for the moment to buy. I have my limit order set, so I do think if we have a drop into around 60, my limit order will be hit. I think anything below or around 50, I have another limit order, but I might actually just start deploying some of the cash that I have, because I doubt it's going any lower. If it does, I'm still prepared for that. I still have limit orders, but I think we're fairly close to a bottom. I think it's a good time to buy now, but the next 6 months is an amazing time to buy, generational wealth type shit. So keep that in mind. Stay tuned for the videos. I'm going to keep updating you guys on what's going on here. Now, onto the part where I show my current portfolio. Let me log into Wealthsimple. Don't look. Okay, so now for the portion where I show you my portfolio. We had another DCA hit of $250. We're currently down $35 around there. And, you know, nothing's really changed. Price is still in the same range. I have my limit order set. If you've been following along, you'll know that price has been pretty steady from the point we've been watching it, but the indicators are telling a very interesting story. If you want a constant update on what's going on with the indicators on chain data, please subscribe, leave a like on the video. All of it helps. I'm doing my best to share what I've learned with you guys, so all the support helps. Leave a comment as to what indicators you're looking at. I would love to know. And for anybody who's interested, I'm Canadian, so I invest with Canadian banks. I use Wealthsimple. If you're looking for a bank, I highly recommend Wealthsimple, and I have a link down below. So yeah, check that out. It really helps support the channel. So now to round this out, I just want to say we are currently at 3 out of the 8 signals that we have. So as time is going on, we're seeing more and more indications that we're getting closer to a bottom. So this is the time to be very aware. Keep doing your research, learning as much as you can. I know that's what I'm going to do, and I'll share it all with you to hopefully make us all crazy rich. So that's the game. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.